This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jay here, welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 243. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where we're talking about painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, we got a whole shebang of new reveals for all of Games Workshop's games. But first, a lot of those games come in square boxes, and today's sponsor, Squarespace, noticed. Squarespace allows anyone to design the website of their dreams with the most powerful and easiest design tools in the industry, like Design Blueprint. Using AI technology empowers anyone to build a more personalized website tailored to their needs, crafting a bespoke digital identity. Choose from a professionally curated selection of styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Squarespace makes sure it's easy to launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. With Squarespace, it's never been easier to set up a unique online storefront. Whether your services are physical, digital, or service-based, selling your wares has never been easier. Squarespace offers an unmatched ability to showcase your unique wares with images, videos, reviews, and add-ons, all capped off with their seamless checkout tools, letting your customers use whatever system they prefer, whether Klarna, ACH Direct Deposit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, or ClearPay. Squarespace offers a free trial for you to dip your feet into and test the waters, and ready to dive in headfirst, you can go to squarespace.com/EonsOfBattle or follow the link in the description below to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. This might be the first Warhammer Reveals show in years that I've forgotten to watch as it came out live. But Sean remembered to watch it live, and he reported back that they had all sorts of technical issues, which, I mean, I get it, live is really hard, but it's just kind of funny that the Reveals shows, they've been getting better. They haven't quite got back to the perfection of like everything would be shown off nice and quick at the top of the show in like 15 to 20 minutes. They still tend to drag on a little bit, but they're working on it. And they had some really cool stuff to show off this time. One of the big old things for 40K is the new 500 Worlds of Ultramar thingy that's happening, which comes with some Ultramarines models, if you can believe it, and a little smattering of a bunch of stuff for a lot of the different armies. One of the big things is Captain Titus again. We got the previous Captain Titus model for Space Marine 2, where he's kind of like in a pose where he's skipping through the daisies. This one, he looks a little bit more confident, a little bit more heroic. He's got a furry cape, and it's the new fur. If you look at like the newer Stormcast models, the Stormcast Lord on Griff Crow has got this new styling of fur where it's a bunch of noodles laying on top of one another, where previously their fur was always triangles poking out in different directions. I think I prefer the triangles. They take a wash really nicely, although the new style does look a little bit more like fur. Then he's got his bolt gun and his chain sword and his Captain Titus face. And he comes with a whole gaggle of friends. Just a merry band of men and women. And they're interesting. I can't imagine how they play in game. Like, it makes a ton of sense in a video game or an RPG where you've got a bunch of random weirdos who all probably do a little something special. But like in 40K, 1 Blade Guard veteran, 1 Chapter Ancient, and then 4 folks doesn't make for the world's most exciting units. I mean, I guess you can kill the 4 guys first, and then you still have some Space Marines left over to do some business with, but the models do look really cool. We've got 4 heroic friends. There's a commander of the Imperial Guard, maybe an Administratum fella, a Void Warrior, and a Astropath. The Astropath, I don't know, Games Workshop has never quite nailed the Battle Psychers, except for the really cool Primaris Psyker, but not that kind of Primaris Psyker. It's an Imperial Guard unit, and it replaced the previous Primaris Psyker, and it's from Blackstone Fortress. It's the lady with like the bald head, and she's shooting warp energy out of her hand. That model is really good. But other than that, seems like Games Workshop can't quite blend the fantasy wizard aesthetic with an interesting like 40K pilgrim aesthetic. He's fine, but I don't know, he's not doing a ton for me. But you know what is doing a ton for me? Necrosaur Amentar. a new character for the Necrons and a destroyer-specific character. Based on the Ophidian pattern of destroyers, this guy looks large and in charge and awesome. I really like the destroyers. I have a ton of them. I have a Locust Lord that I kit bashed not too long ago, which is awesome because it's probably gonna get sent to Legends soon, but maybe not if we're getting a little bit more love for the destroyer versions of Necrons. Necrons are immortal beings, but things can happen to them in their eternal life. They can just go mad and become a flayed one, or they can go mad and become a destroyer. And the destroyers, their only goal in life is to wipe out all life in the universe. They're very, very good at it, and they're very, very grumpy. And this guy, oh, he looks like Papa Grumps. He is in it to win it. He is going to kill absolutely everything. And it's interesting that he's based on the Ophidian pattern, because I think the Ophidian destroyers are lone op guys that aren't really meant to be joined by anything. And so it'll be interesting to see what his stat line looks like. He is going to, actually he doesn't come in the box. The box is just a generic grouping of some Necron destroyers. We got Locust Destroyers, Ophidian Destroyer, or no Locust Destroyer, the 2 heavy Locust Destroyers. The heavy Locust Destroyer still looks a little off to me. The models look really, really cool, and I have 2 of them in my army. But for years and years and years and years and years, there was just Locust Destroyer. And now there's Locust Destroyer and Heavy Locust Destroyer. And Locust Destroyer is definitely showing its age quite a bit, and the Heavy Locust Destroyer kind of looks like the thing that was meant to replace the Locust Destroyer, but they never got around to making the swap. Then some Ophidians and some Scorpex. I love a Scorpec. I took a humongous blob of Scorpec Destroyers with a Lord in my Necron army for, I think I had it for a Rogue Trader tournament. And they did really, really well in 2 games, absolutely blending some enemy units. And then in 1 game, I charged into some Argo Flagellants, which have no save. They have a 7-up save, and then I think like a 6-up Feel No Pain. But I could not kill them. Every turn, he would kill like 1 Scorpec, and then I would kill 5, or I would kill a bunch of them, but they would never, it took like 3 turns to actually chew through that entire squad. So I need to bring my Scorpex back to the table for them to do some more fun business. And then Satan, Shard of the Nightbringer, has been officially shown off. It was officially shown off before, but now it is shown off in the spot that it was always meant to be shown off. And it does look exceptional. Apparently the lore of this new guy, Amintar, he wants to bring together all of the different shards of the Nightbringer to put them all back together, because the Necrons couldn't actually kill the C'tans, their gods, and so they just broke them up into little shards, and then those shards can be essentially used as super laser batteries. But for some reason, this guy wants to put the Satan shard of the Nightbringer back together, which seems like a remarkably bad idea, especially when the C'tan have been imprisoned by the Necrons for 60 million years. So he probably wouldn't be too pleased with having his like Necron form back put together. So it's an interesting idea, but if your only goal is to murder, maybe it's not a bad idea to awaken the murder god. I guess that sort of does check out. Then there's the 500 Worlds Titus. Is it a campaign book? It's a narrative expansion for Warhammer 40,000. The thing that really caught my eye is that this is going to have 6 new detachments in it. I think 3 for the Necrons, 3 for the Space Marines. And it'll be really interesting if they can write a good Space Marine detachment, because the Space Marines, they've got, not the Indominus, Gladius detachment. Gladius detachment is just kind of the best Space Marine detachment. It just makes your Oath of Moment so much better. It synergizes so well with everything, because like, you can have 1 turn of extra good shooting, 1 turn of extra good moving, 1 turn of extra good fighting. And the stratagems are really, really well suited for the Space Marines. And so all of the other Space Marine attachments are kind of just worse than the Gladius. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they can write another Space Marine detachment. And there's totally a ton of fun to be had with the other Space Marine detachments. But it would be awesome if there were some new detachments that were just kind of very, very good, and you really, really wanted to play them by reading them, as opposed to like, oh, if I skew this way, and if I take these things but not these things, I can definitely make this detachment pop off. You want some detachments that are really, really good. Although Space Marines, they're not hurting for detachments. I think we have like 30 if you also include all of the like successor chapters and second founding chapters. The Space Marines, we're doing fine, but we could always use a little bit more of everything. And speaking of a little bit more of everything, there are some new models for other factions in Warhammer 40,000. We got a new Leagues of Votann fella, Breck Stormbrow. He is the anti-orc character. Orcs famously, the Leagues of Votann, the reason that we've never seen them up until this point is because they live by the galaxy's core near the black hole, and so the incredible stress of living near that black hole means that only Votann can survive there. Only Votann and orcs. For some reason, orcs are just fine near the black hole too, and so the Votann have been fighting orcs for millions and millions of years. And this guy is the bestest at fighting the orcs. He's got a nice little decapitated orc. He's just a little guy. He's got that scaly, weird skin that some of the Votann have, and he's got a gigantic hammer, and he is a Hearthguard. He's a Chthonian Berserker, and so hopefully he'll be able to ally into Chthonian Berserker squads. I like the Chthonian Berserker squad. It's a little bit annoying with the mole launcher. You've got one really good gun that doesn't want to be in close combat, but then a whole bunch of naked dudes who do want to be in close combat, and so you gotta give it up for the naked dudes. But then you're not getting a lot of use out of that gun. But maybe once you got this guy attached, that gun doesn't matter anymore, and you just charge right into the thick of things. And speaking of the thick of things, the Twin Lance. 2 new characters for the Tau, although I think they're gonna be a pair. And it's a crisis battle suits, and they have some slight alterations to their armor, and they have some very Leagues of Votann kind of inspired, like, looks to them. It's very odd. I think it's just the paint job. They're in the Leagues of Votann tealy blue with orange accents, which is Leagues of Votann, but they have nothing to do with Leagues of Votann. These are Tau. They just happen, their colors, like their color swatches happen to match up with the Leagues of Votann. I think these guys look great. Ooh, you'll be able to take a 6-man squad and then make it an 8-man, you'll be able to make it an 8-man squad. And hopefully that'll give it'll make Crisis Suit teams even better, although they're already pretty darn awesome. And then we got some little gun drones with cute little tassels tied around their guns. And some melta guns, some plasma guns, and some very interesting shield generators. It'll be interesting to see what kind of shielding that provides, because Crisis Suit teams can already have shield drones, which gives them +1 to their wounds. And so are these guys gonna have like a 2-up save, or maybe a 3-up invulnerable save, or can they confer that to any members of the squad? I don't know, these guys are very interesting. In my Kroot army, I do have some Crisis Suit teams. I have one Sun Fury team with the Melta guns, and so I wonder, would these guys be a good include for that Melta gun team? I don't know, I'll have to wait for their datasheets to come out. But one datasheet that I do not need to wait for is the Tyranid Prime with Lash Whip. The previous Tyranid Prime that came in the Leviathan box had wings, but was still able to attach to warriors, and warriors do not have wings, so it made for kind of an awkward unit where if you were doing a good job with your movement, you could do some interesting things like have your Tyranid warriors move their maximum distance and then have the Prime leapfrog to get extra movement, because technically that is legal to do. Now we can just have the normal guy leading the rest of the normal guys. He's got a big old lash whip, no bone sword, but he's got scything talons, and he looks like he's having a good time. I think this guy is gonna be awesome. Previously, you could build a Tyranid Prime out of the regular Tyranid Warrior box. There was like an extra head and an extra special looking chest that you were meant to glue on. And so I don't remember though, in 10th edition, if that model is still a thing or not. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, and you were meant to use the official unit called the Tyranid Prime with wings. And so now you can just use this guy. It is a necessary model for the Tyranids. It's very good that he exists. And it looks like he is overhanging that base by quite a bit. But I think when I get a hold of this guy, because I do have a whole bunch of secondhand Tyranid warriors that I need to put together, and this is exactly the type of guy I need to lead them. A couple of these guys have definitely got me tempted to pick up some new Warhammer, but another thing that caught my eye in the reveal show is the Legions Imperialis. I don't play Legions Imperialis, and I'm not super I don't want to get into Legions Imperialis. If it was epic Warhammer and I could play some itty bitty tiny Tyranids or some itty bitty tiny Leagues of Votann, I would be down. But Space Marine on Space Marine, it's not that exciting. But something I did find exciting is the cutest Widow Saturnine Terminators. They're like little M&Ms glued to the bases. They're so cute. These little guys glued to their little quarter-sized bases. Absolutely adorable. I kind of want these guys just to sit on my desk and just be the cutest little thing that I've ever seen. They're so funny looking. And hilariously, the models are so physically enormous in 30K that scaling them down to Legions Imperialis does kind of make them, like, they're a reasonable size. They're like little tiny teddy bears. They're so cute. Another interesting thing that I didn't know existed at Legions Imperialis in the big army box, the Solar Auxilia Combined Army Battle Group. It comes with 6 lightning fighters. And is this the exact same lightning fighter that came in Aeronautica Imperialis? Because it should be, because I'm pretty sure Aeronautica was the same scale as modern Legions Imperialis. And so is this the sprues from that? Or did they remake the fighter craft and for the Legion Imperialis? Like, I want to know, are those old miniatures that are being resurrected for Legions Imperialis? I also think it's very interesting the way it's posed on the base. It seems to be just the generic Games Workshop flight stand, which means that these fighter jets are flying about 8 feet off the ground, which seems a little bit ridiculous. But in the Legions Imperialis and the Aeronautica, it came with big old flight stands, so you could just use those, which makes me think maybe this isn't the one from that game, but it might as well be because it's in the right scale and it is the right model. So I'm very curious about that. Let me know in the comments if any of the other Aeronautica models have made it into Legions Imperialis. And if they have, like, are they actually the models from that older game? Because that older game, it caught my eye a little bit. I may have a whole bunch of it that I need to paint up one of these days, because it did look like a fun game. Yeah, Legions Imperialis, very interesting. But speaking of things that are very interesting, some more new models for Warhammer the Horus Heresy proper 30K. We got some Skitarii with some very long legs, but not to be confused with the Scatros, the sniper guy. These are new figures, and they are Skitarii Battle Pilgrims. And they got long legs, they got ratty cloaks, and they got some, what is the name of their gun? Voltlock arquebuses. I thought that the arquebus was the really long gun that some of the other Skitarii models in 40K are holding, but these look to be a little bit more standard battle rifle sized. But I think those other guns, I think the ones from 40K are not Voltlock. I think there's some other kind of arquebus. And so these guys got some new fancy guns. They're pretty cool. I think Games Workshop kind of missed out on something with the Skitarii in general. All the Skitarii are in like unique poses, running, jogging, standing-ish, moving proudly. Like, I think having all of that diversity is actually not good for the Skitarii. In my opinion, I think the Skitarii would actually be better served more monopose. Like, what if we had 5 Skitarii that were standing proud, aiming their muskets, and then we had 5 Skitarii who are kneeling, firing their rifles, and then you could have like a first rank fire, second rank fire. I feel like it would make sense because they're almost robots. They're super cyborged out, and they don't have a lot of free will or freedom. And so I think it would actually be really cool if they were all literally identical, like moving in perfect lockstep, as opposed to a gaggle of folks kind of running around the battlefield. That would be my preference, but I guess since these guys are pilgrims and they're a little bit more like out there in the wastes, that it makes sense that they are a little bit more unique in their posing. There is the leader, the Skitarii Battle Pilgrim Marshal, who's got a very fancy stick. He's got a couple of servitors, and he has a revolver pistol with a cute little bayonet on the end of it, and a scope. He is decked out. He's pretty cool. These models, you know what these models would be really good for? What? The Rust Stalkers. For 40k, the Ruststalkers are they have reasonably long legs, like they have those backwards jointed legs that a lot of animals have. These guys would make some really, really interesting, like Dark Mechanicus versions of those guys with those cloaks. You just paint those cloaks like flayed skin, and then you just put on the Ruststalker weapons, and all of a sudden, these guys would look very, very good as some Dark Mechanicus fighters. Ooh, that's kind of like that. Speaking of things that I like, the Voltrax Stratos Automata, I remember seeing these suckers on Forge World, but now they're back with a new plastic kit. Just a little floating bumblebee looking guy with a couple of grenade launchers, a big old laser gun on the front, and he's looking really good. One thing that just made me chuckle is that this new box, it comes with all of the leggy boys and one of these new hovercraft, and it comes with the Mechanicum Macro Constructs transfer sheet with 394 individual decals. That's a really funny selling point to me because realistically, you're getting a whole bunch of 1s and a whole bunch of 2s and a whole bunch of 3s and a whole bunch of 4s. Like a decal sheet isn't awesome because it has so many individual little elements. It's exciting because it's got the things that you really want on there. I don't think I've ever actually used up a decal sheet, like gotten every single little thing on there onto a miniature. It's never really happened, and so it's funny just in Games Workshop vamping, they're like 394 individual little marks on this sheet. And the rule book has 12 million individual letters in it, and so you're really getting some good value out of this. But you know, it never makes me chuckle because of how absolutely amazing it is. It is our website, EonsOfBattle.com. EonsOfBattle.com is the place to find all sorts of great hobby goodies, the same hobby goodies that I use almost every single day. And we got in some more decals. So if you want decal sheets that have tons of epic decals all over them, you can check them out on EonsOfBattle.com along with paints. We got basing toppers and bits, we got texture pastes, palettes, we get all sorts of great stuff, including terrain. It is the best way to support us doing what we do by getting a membership. Each month, members get a credit that they can use on our new monthly terrain packs or any previous pack we have ever made. Our new terrain for November, the Crashed Landers. These spaceships have all the trappings of grimdark futuristic flyers that have met their untimely end, dropping out of the sky to live out their days as dramatic terrain. With weapons, engines, armor, and rivets, these corpses were carrying some precious cargo that never quite made it to its destination. These ill-fated vehicles were designed by us and are available at EonsBattle.com. Some pretty epic stuff is coming for Warhammer 40,000, but maybe the coolest stuff is coming for Age of Sigmar, and that is the Maggotkin of Nurgle. We got Festus, and now Festus the Leech Lord. Previously, Festus was looking pretty cool. He was like pouring a little vial of poison down a guy's throat, but now he's up on a giant literal leech. He is monstrous, he is filthy, he is disgusting, he is on a very big oval base that I don't think I even recognize the size of. It looks weirdly narrow. Oh, maybe he's just really big. Is that? No, it's not a 170 millimeter base. I don't know, I'd have to double check if I have a base that looks like that, but this guy is super cool. Oh, there's a poor guy all wrapped up to the back of his throne, upside down. Ah, that is hilarious. And he's just got like a tentacle stapled. Oh, no, that's a leech that is biting his belly, and the leech is operating as his third hand. The Maggotkin are so much fun. And speaking of so much fun, the Sloven Knights. These are new. I don't believe that the Maggotkin had a cavalry option before, but we got some plague dudes on some plague horsies. And I like that they're normal horses that have seen better days. A lot of the chaos horses are very chaosified horses that don't quite feel that horsey. These guys feel horsey. You feel really bad for them. I really like the cloaks that are kind of thrown over the horses. It lets you really get a dark color scheme on there. And then the knights on top look absolutely incredible. With their brutal weapons. I bet these guys have an amazing save characteristic. These guys, oh, and they got bare heads. Oh, I might need these bear heads. I have a Death Guard army and I try to have as many of my Marines helmetless as possible because I really like how it looks and the kind of character that it gives my miniatures, but it's really hard to find Nurgle bear heads. This kit comes with some really, really cool helmetless heads, and I might need to figure out a way to get a hold of them. But speaking of getting a hold of things, the Putrid Blight Kings. This is a unit that previously did exist in Age of Sigmar, and the models look pretty cool. Nick has them, and I've played against them a few times in Age of Sigmar Spearhead. They're brutally powerful and survivable, but these guys, I really, really like what they've done with these guys. They are a little bit more uniform in that they all kind of have some under armor going on. They've all got some pants, but no shirts. They kind of got some shawls and they have antlers. And it kind of, even though every single guy is very unique, it does make them look really, really good together. I really like the banner. I really like their giant two-handed weapons. These guys are looking really, really nice. And by really nice, I mean really, really ugly and disturbing, but that's what you want in the Maggotkin of Nurgle. There's the Rot Swords, which are just a step underneath the Lords. These are just the regular rank and file foot soldiers, but they look fantastic. And they got some really interesting things going on with their armor. Also, I feel like the paint jobs are a cut above the normal Games Workshop paint jobs. They look like they have some really, really interesting non-metallic metal, but utilizing true metallic metal going on, where the highlights are like a crispy, shiny silver, but then they really quickly transfer into a saturated color that still looks glossy. These guys are really, really nice. The thing though, that really knocked my socks off, it might be my favorite thing of the entire Reveals show, the Pestigors. The Pestigors, the Goatmen, the Nurglified Goatmen, but they're not too Nurglified. I really like that, like, nobody's missing a leg or missing an arm or missing a head, and they don't have tentacles sticking out of everywhere. They're just some Goatmen who, you know, they've kind of laxed on their skincare routine. They've seen better days, but they still look really, really intense and imposing, and I love the name of the Pestigor. They're not Zangors, they're Pestigors. It's Pesto and the boys. They're coming, and they look really, really cool. I like these guys a lot. I really like the Beastmen. I have the Beastmen kill team, and I really enjoy painting those guys up, making some good use of some dirty down rust. And these guys look like they'd be so much fun to paint. I really, really like them. The Goatmen. They're just so neat. What's better? What's better? Like, they're so classic fantasy. They're just monsters, but they're not world-ending monsters. They're just, you know, they're just one of those things that goes bump in the night. They're spooky. I like them. A really, really exciting reveal of miniatures from Warhammer 40,000. Even though they couldn't get the audio right, I think what they were showing off is really, really cool. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite thing from the reveal show? Do you love the Pestigors as much as I do? Because I really like them. I'm not gonna start a Maggotkin army, but if I'm able to somehow put together an army of Pestigors, I might be willing to do that because it seems like so much fun. If there was a Pestigor spearhead, I am all over that spearhead. Games Workshop, please, please, please make it happen. But I don't need any more spearheads. I have plenty on my desk and I need to go paint them right now. So thanks for watching.